Well, last night, as the budget was being handed down, journalists and Australia was poring over the details. In the Senate, one of the Prime Minister's own stood up and in an 11-minute speech did not miss in her criticism of the Prime Minister personally. Concetta Fierravanti-Wells has been in the Liberal Party for decades. She knows Scott Morrison well, and she didn't keep anything to herself last night. Joining me live now is Senator Holly Hughes, another Liberal senator from New South Wales. Holly, thanks so much for your time. Were you in the chamber?
Laura.
Did you hear this speech?
No, I did not. I have seen it this morning.
What's behind this? Because it was pretty scathing and it's not going to help.
Look, Laura, I've known the Prime Minister for over 20 years and I consider him not only a close friend but a mentor. He has been a supporter of mine both politically and personally for decades. And Laura, you might remember you and I did an interview back in 2016 when I actually won the pre-selection ahead of Senator Fierravanti-Wells, and then we went to a double dissolution. And through conversations I had with Scott, who was then the Treasurer at the time, he, as a close friend, was able to put that to one side and he and I discussed lots of things. And for the good of the party, with Scott's intervention, I stood aside from that pre-selection victory and allowed Connie, as the then Minister under the Turnbull government, another 6-year term in Parliament. Had I not stood aside and without Scott's intervention, Senator Fierravanti-Wells would have left the Senate 6 years ago. The comments that were made last night that I've seen this morning absolutely do not reflect the man that I know. They do not reflect his leadership style. They do not reflect the support that he's not only given me, but I know that he provides to so many other colleagues. There's a saying, across the board, how you deal with defeat is a best reflection of your character. And certainly Scott has a very strong character and I am very proud to serve as his part of his team and continue to do so.
Senator, do you think Connie was motivated by the loss in pre-selection, essentially, putting her in an unwinnable position? What would make her say that?
I don't think she would have made that speech. I don't think she would have made that speech if she was on the Senate ticket.
It was pretty comprehensive, though. It wasn't off the cuff.
No, but I don't think she would have made that speech had she been successful in pre-selection. But the Liberal Party voters, under a plebiscite model that Connie was very, very big on supporting, pre-selected Maurice Payne and Jim Molan to lead our Senate ticket. So the pre-selectors have spoken. And would she have made that speech without winning? Had she won the pre-selection? I don't think so.
Okay.
And I haven't seen Connie in the Senate since Monday.
Okay, well, this goes to character, doesn't it? I mean, she said she's met ruthless people in her political life. Morrison tops that list. She says he's not interested in rules-based order. It's his way or the highway. He's an autocrat. He's a bully. He has no moral compass. Just 2 months ago, we heard another unnamed minister calling Scott Morrison a psychopath. Is there a pattern here?
Well, they obviously don't know the Scott that I do. It's absolutely false. That is not his leadership style. And as I said, I have known him for over 20 years. And in fact, Scott was state director when I first joined the party. It was Scott that brought me to work in on my first campaign headquarters. I've worked in every campaign headquarters since 2002. I also used to work for Connie Fierravanti-Wells, so I know both of them very, very well. And I certainly do not agree with her character assessment of Scott. It is not the person I know. I know him and I know Jenny very, very well, and I'm very proud to call them friends. Yeah. And I'm incredibly proud to serve as part of his team. And in fact, the fact that he was state director that brought me into my first campaign headquarters, and then he was Prime Minister that then brought me into the Senate when I won the pre-selection in 2019, having stood aside for Connie in 2016, as I said to Scott, was quite serendipitous. And I love that we've had that sort of circle of political life, but I consider him both a political mentor and very close friend, as I do Alex Hawke.
Your experience is starting to look like a bit of an anomaly, though. Is there a difference in the way Scott Morrison treats his friends and maybe his opponents within the party?
No, I don't think so at all. Don't think so at all. And if you speak to my colleagues and the way Scott conducts himself in our party room, the support that he has, absolutely not. And it's politics, Laura. You know, there's always some people who aren't happy. You know what? She has been given by the Liberal Party a very long career in the Senate. And I think as most people who go out of this place and do so with dignity, they should be very grateful to the Liberal Party for the career that they've had, for the opportunities they've had, because if not for the Liberal Party, not one of us would be here. So I have a very strong view that when you depart from this place, you should do so with grace and dignity. That's how you'll be remembered.
Is she being ungrateful?
I'll let others say that, but I certainly wouldn't have given that speech, and I don't think it's reflective of the people she spoke about, and I'd be interested to see whether she'd say those things outside of the chamber.
How damaging is it at your chance of re-election?
Look, I don't think so at all. You know, I know you and I have joked in the past, the Senate is not somewhere where we have our faces on corflutes and everyone knows who we are. The Senate, I like to say, is the house that does all the work. I think we're going to be here really, really late tonight as we continue to get through legislation before we hit estimates tomorrow. So we'll continue doing that work. We'll continue passing Josh's budget and the bills today, an outstanding budget that's going to put real money in the pockets of real Australians. And I think that's what matters. I don't think the people in 5 Dock that Tom was just speaking to really, really care. And as one of the people that he spoke to,
we won't have long to...
she hit the nail on the head when she said, I don't think the other bloke's got what it takes to lead. So I think most Australians are starting to see that.
All right, we will see whether that plays out at the election. And of course, politics is as snakes and ladders, as you remind us what happened in 2016. Thanks for your time, Holly. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Laura.